Everybody knows Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming. I mean, it's like I said, it's the worst kept secret in all of gaming. It's no mystery. Of course, they're making another one. It's going to print money, I'm sure. However, it never ceases to amaze me at just how coy all of the executives over at Take-Two Interactive, the parent company of Rockstar Games, how coy they are when it comes to GTA 6, because everybody knows it's coming and everybody knows it's there, but nobody wants to acknowledge it or verify it. And in fact, the only reason it's been confirmed even that this is in production is because of those huge leaks that we had last year. I think it was last summer, where somebody hacked in, got tons and tons of footage. And it was basically, I mean, they couldn't deny it anymore. It was like, yeah, no, this is pretty clearly a Grand Theft Auto game in development. There was something insane, what was it? I think it was 90 to 100 clips, individual clips of the game. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, and then the kid got like, I think he got away pretty much scot-free. I think he's on like, I'm sure he's on lists. I'm sure he's on parole or whatever. I don't know how it works in the UK, but yeah, he's he basically got away with it, which is insane. It was 90 videos, exactly about 3 gigabytes of dev footage. Yeah, and hypothetically, if somebody were to get it, hypothetically, somebody probably would have saved it so that they could reference it in the future, since no doubt instantaneously Rockstar came in and copyright struck everything. I remember when I did the video on that gameplay footage, anybody that showed screen grabs or screen caps or anything was getting their videos taken down. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So I used like Midjourney to generate fake like Grand Theft Auto looking gameplay stills. And I used that for the thumbnail. And I was like, it's not the leak. Technically, it's not. It's just Midjourney thinking what a leak might look like, you know? So I got around it that way. But the leaks were pretty compelling. I mean, everybody jokes that a lot of these games that we're getting nowadays look and run worse than those leaks of Grand Theft Auto 5 from like a year ago. And apparently a lot of those leaks were from like, exactly pre-alpha builds years ago. So it's not even like current footage. And the other piece is people might look at that and be like, oh, it doesn't look very good. It's development footage. It's development footage. They don't need to add all the bells and whistles, all the God rays, all the super high res textures when they're just testing if systems work. So that's part of the reason why. Honestly, I don't know if you even could get that footage nowadays if you wanted to go watch it again. I'm sure it's somewhere on like 4chan or something. You can find links to it, or like maybe magnet links or something. But yeah, hypothetically, if somebody were to have watched it back in the day, they hypothetically probably should have saved it or could have saved it, in which case they could reference it now in real time, which is nice. But hypothetically, then, of course, somebody couldn't show it to you, unfortunately. But with all of that said, hypothetically, shifting forward, what we're referring to here today is that Strauss Zelnick, who is both built like a trapezoid and a pencil at the same time, he had a call with some investors. It's also known as just an earnings call, where they go through all of the earnings for the last quarter and describe how things have been going. And in that call, over the last like 2 to 3 quarters, it's been really funny because he's been very, very coy. They hint towards a big spike in revenue. We expect a significant increase in revenues in 2024. Leading into 2025, we expect to have some increased profits as well. We expect to dominate the headlines a little bit, and then somebody inevitably comes up and is like, "Sir, are you referring to Grand Theft Auto 6?" Well, we're not going to talk about oncoming projects, but we are working on something that is going to improve our revenues. They just won't acknowledge it, even though everybody knows what they're talking about. What he said in this particular hearing or call was, quote, "We," being Take-Two, "remain confident that we are positioning our business for a significant inflection point in fiscal 2025, which we believe will include a new record levels of operating performance. Take-Two's fiscal year 25 runs between April of 2024, so this coming April, and March of the following year." Now again, what does Take-Two have in terms of games we know they're working on that could provide a significant inflection point? It's Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, there's nothing else. Like, do they really think that's going to be like 2K, NBA, whatever? Like, you think that's going to be it? No. That's all factored into what they have now. The only huge project that they are thinking is going to provide that level of a boost is Grand Theft Auto 5. They get into specifics. Whilst to some, the news might just be buzzwords for investors, Take-Two is expected to take in, or is expecting a total of $8 billion in net bookings next year. This means versus the current fiscal year prediction of $5.5 billion. Take-Two is expecting an additional $2.5 billion next year. And again, like, for a video game to make $1 billion alone is an insane success. That is a very, very successful game. And so for them to have something to come along that they expect to make 2.5, it's Grand Theft Auto 5. Or 6. There's no doubt. Like, it's Grand Theft Auto 6. If the publisher's prediction is because of the long anticipated GTA 6, not only could a reveal date be imminent, but we could expect GTA 6 to release somewhere around September to October of 2024. Judging by past reveals and the release of Rockstar Games, the developer behind GTA 6, and releases of GTA Rockstar Games, it's likely that the announcement of GTA 6 will be made around October of this year, which we can then expect the game to launch around 12 months later. It should also be noted that Rockstar Games and Take-Two Interactive have a tendency to delay their games too. In 2021, I reported via sources on my YouTube channel, this is coming from, of course, Tom Henderson, who runs Insider Gaming, that GTA 6 was scheduled to release in 2024 to 2025. And in 2022, of course, the leak pretty much confirmed all of that stuff. So if the past strategy is going to be held to here as well, Rockstar typically announces their games about a year before they're set to launch, and then they market it steadily and slowly. They dominate headlines whenever they drop any information, but they give people plenty of time to pre-order and get set and for them to prepare marketing campaigns. And then they release the game, barring any extra delays that they might have to pursue. Which makes sense. I mean, with a lot of these games, people are always like, why don't they just shadow drop more games? The reason is because like, if you want to avoid leaks, especially, you have to minimize the number of people that are getting their hands on information that could be leaked. So for like Fallout 4, I remember they did a relatively quick turnaround from announcement to when they dropped it, or Fallout 76, they certainly did as well, because Bethesda just likes to do that kind of thing. They had to do a lot of marketing stuff, working with marketing agencies, planning ads, shooting ads, all of this stuff in the time period where it was still top secret, where they couldn't discuss it or disclose it. And that led to a lot of leaks. And frankly, Rockstar is just not going to do that. Like, they're just not going to risk it. So they'll announce it a full year ahead of time, and then they'll start to do advertising stuff where they'll give marketing agencies access to the footage that they need, blah, blah, blah. So we shall see. Now, the big piece with this, you know, the general perception, and I've also had this because it's freaking Rockstar, is like what the Diato, I think maybe in chat is saying GTA 6 doesn't need any marketing LMAO. I think you're right. Whenever this comes out, everybody's going to talk about it. Baldur's Gate 3 has seen immense success largely because of word of mouth. And that will drive sales, no doubt. But I can't help but feel, especially after this Red Dead Redemption thing a couple days ago, I can't help but feel as though maybe, just maybe, this could be a little different. Like, Grand Theft Auto 6 obviously is set to be probably the biggest game of all time. However, Take-Two Interactive is a much different company than it has been for like over the last 10 years, you know? when Grand Theft Auto 5 launched, I know this might be baffling nowadays thinking of it, but Grand Theft Auto 5 was supposed to have a single player DLC. They were supposed to like expand the single player content, and the online mode was just supposed to be like a fun online thing for people to engage with. They didn't expect it to basically turn itself into a massive money making cash printing machine. So Take-Two is a very different company than when Rockstar released Grand Theft Auto 5. And over the last 10 years, they have steadily made weird decisions. Like, of course, they released Red Dead 2, which was very, very well received and is one of my favorite games of all time. But they also butchered the ever-living hell out of Red Dead Online. And then they do this other stuff with, like, you know, of course, Red Dead Redemption 1 being re-released on the PS4 and the Switch. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm sure Grand Theft Auto 6 is still going to dominate all the headlines. It's still going to sell very, very well. But I would be braced for some really scummy tactics when it comes to monetization. I'm just braced for it because Take-Two is one of the most toxic companies when it comes to pricing. And I think we just have to be prepared for that. Like, even if, this is the thing though, at this point, the hype for just anything Rockstar does is so high because frankly, they've earned it because they just never miss. Even if GTA 5 launches and it's just not, somehow it's just not a very good game, it's still going to sell like crazy. It just is. So I don't even think there's much they could do to screw it up. Like, I've tried to think, I was like, what could they possibly do to get people not to buy GTA 6? I'm honestly not sure. Like, how bad would they have to screw up to get people to not buy it? Rocky says racial slurs in the game. I mean, unfortunately, even then, I think that would just lead to more marketing, more free press of people in the media freaking out about it, and people would still probably play it. Like, if they have somebody that comes in and, you know, they just have like a character who's straight up in the KKK, and that's like your love interest for the game, that would be bad. Yeah. I'm not even sure that that would stop people from buying it to play the online. Like, I think people would still buy it. If it's like Saints Row and they go full woke cringe, maybe, I mean, I could see that if it's like, especially if that first trailer is really, really cringe with Saints Row level writing, I could see that. But I would consider that to be such a low possibility that anything like that happens. It would be really, really funny though to have like a very PC GTA game, because I don't think that would do well. I think a lot of people expect GTA to not be PC like that. So we'll see. But I mean, if any company can get away with not being PC, it's Rockstar, because they do whatever they want. So I'm still very confident that they're going to do great work. I think the online version of Grand Theft Auto 6 is probably going to be toxic as hell, just like the current one is. I don't know if you guys have tried to go back and play some freaking GTA online. Holy God, it's bad. Like, so many hackers, so many people trying to dox you. You basically can't play in public lobbies. You have to play private lobbies, and even then it's like kind of broken. Like, even then somehow people manage to hack their way in. It's just terrible. So my big question mark with GTA 6 Online is what that anti-cheat is going to look like, and I've seen pretty much nobody discuss that, which is bizarre to me. Like, there were all of those stories. I wonder if I can find one real quick. Wasn't there there was a story, I think last fall, maybe, where GTA Online hackers were able to go in and steal both money and corrupt your entire account just to troll you. Like, people were just doing this. If you played in public lobbies, people were just basically bricking your account. So you just could not play the game. You lose all of your progress, and that's it. Like, it's insane. Yeah, does this mean that it's fixed now? In terms of remote exploits, it should be safe now. In terms of regular cheating, nope, you will still face them in public lobbies, but at least no cheater should annoy you in invite-only lobbies. The fact that they could get into invite-only lobbies is amazing to me. But what are you going to do? So I think that that's kind of the biggest question mark right now with GTA 6 is how they're going to approach freaking hackers and exploits and stuff. Because if you think it's bad now, just wait until every streamer on the planet is playing GTA 6 online. Like, it's going to be everywhere nonstop. It's going to be a nightmare. One of the ways that they might get around it, and this has been a big question mark for a while, is by just not releasing a PC version for like a year or two. I know that sucks because I would like to play on PC, but I also understand it's a lot easier for them to manage avoiding hackers if they just don't release it on PC, which is what they technically did with Grand Theft Auto, what they did for Red Dead as well. If we look at GTA 5's history, when they released that, how they did it was they did the PS3 and 360 on September 17th of 2013. It released on next gen consoles, so the PS4 and Xbox One, almost a little over a year later in November of 2014. And then they released on Windows in April of 2015. So like a year and a half after the initial launch. So if you think that like they're just going to drop day one the game at on PC, I'm just not convinced that that's going to happen. It just doesn't seem to be the case. And if we look at Red Dead Redemption 2, it was something very, very similar, where they released on PS4 and Xbox One in October of 2018. Windows, it came, again, just about a year and a few weeks later in 2019. And then it came to Stadia just a week and a half later. So I would personally expect no PC port at launch, especially with the online stuff, which is just a little bit of a bummer, but what are you going to do? Switch release when? In 15 years? Once the console's like completely out of date? For sure. All of this to say, I'm sure GTA 6 is going to be a solid game. It would be the story of the century if it's not very, very good. But the online mode, I have no doubt, is going to be a bit of a disaster for a while, and they might not ever fix it. It's going to be super toxic. They're probably going to have tons of roleplay stuff built in to try and capitalize on that, which will be cool. But that online mode, they don't currently have any sort of significant anti-cheat system in place. And as far as we know, they aren't working on anything. So what makes you think that magically they're going to figure it out for GTA 6 Online? I just don't think they will. So I'm braced for it to be an absolute dumpster fire online when it launches, but we shall see. The core game, I'm sure, is going to be very good, though, and I'm excited to see it. The only thing they have to avoid is being super cringe, and they will be okay.